Before bedrooms, before pillows, before mattresses, before locked doors, before alarm clocks, before anyone could say goodnight and disappear into a private room, humans still had to do the most dangerous thing an animal can do. They had to stop watching. They had to close their eyes. They had to become still, silent, and helpless in a world that did not become safe just because the sun went down. That is the strange thing about sleep. Every living creature needs rest, but rest makes you vulnerable. A walking human can run. A waking human can throw. A watching human can warn the group. But a sleeping human is different. The body is warm. The breathing slows. The eyes close. The muscles relax. And for a predator in the dark, that is not a person. That is an opportunity. So where did humans sleep before houses existed? The answer is not simply on the ground, and it is not simply in caves. The real answer is much more interesting. Humans slept wherever they could engineer safety. In trees, in rock shelters, around fire, on grass bedding, near other bodies, inside circles of light, smoke, smell, memory, and warning. Sleep was not just something ancient humans did at the end of the day. Sleep was a problem they had to solve every night. Imagine an ancient human landscape after sunset. Not a power outage, not a camping trip, not a romantic night under the stars. A moonless night on open African ground. So dark your hand disappears in front of your face. In that darkness, leopards move silently. Hyenas listen, snakes cool under stones. Insects crawl, cold gathers near the ground. A strange sound could be wind, or it could be teeth. Modern humans forget this, because modern sleep is surrounded by invisible protection. Walls, doors, locks, windows, roofs, police, hospitals, electric lights, mattresses, blankets. But for most of our history, none of that existed. The night had to be managed directly. If ancient humans simply lay down wherever they stopped walking, many of them would not have lived long enough to become our ancestors. So the first truth is this: ancient sleep was not passive. Ancient sleep was planned. Now move the map back into our deeper primate past. Our closest living relatives, chimpanzees and other great apes, build sleeping platforms, often called nests, almost every night. They bend branches, test support, choose locations, create a platform that keeps the body off the ground. This is not random comfort. It protects sleep. It reduces disturbance. It helps avoid insects and danger. It creates a safer place in a dangerous night. Early human ancestors did not suddenly appear as modern people sleeping in beds. They came from a lineage where sleeping above the ground mattered. The trees were once bedrooms. Branches were architecture. A nest was a night machine. Now, we have to be careful. We cannot say every Homo sapiens slept 60 feet in the air every night. Human evolution moved gradually from trees to ground. Different groups in different places use different solutions. But the deeper point is powerful. Before the house, before the hut, before the bed frame, there was already a sleeping technology. A body above danger, a chosen place, a prepared surface, a nightly decision that said, here, not there. The ground was useful, but the ground was also dangerous. So humans and their ancestors kept solving the same problem. How do you sleep without being taken? At some point, humans moved more fully onto the ground, and that changed everything. Because ground sleep required a new technology, fire. Fire did not only cook food, it changed the night. A flame created light for an animal with weak night vision. It gave warmth to a body without thick fur. It made insects and predators less comfortable. It turned a patch of darkness into a visible human space. Around a fire, the night became smaller. The unknown was pushed back. Not defeated, but pushed away. That matters because sleeping is not only about closing the eyes, it is about trusting the space around you. Fire helped create that trust. A group could gather around it. Children could sleep near adults. Older people could rest near warmth. The dark could still surround them, but it no longer owned everything. Before fire, the night belonged mostly to the animals that saw, smelled, and hunted in it. After fire, humans began taking part of the night back. But fire did something even more important. It gave humans evening time, time after sunset, time to talk, time to repair tools, time to plan, time to teach, time to tell stories. The campfire was not only a heater, it was one of the first social technologies, the original classroom, the original theater, the original glowing screen. Only this screen did not isolate people. It gathered them. Anthropologist Polly Wessner studied firelight conversations among the Jew Shohomonsi of southern Africa and found that night talk was very different from day talk. Daytime conversation often focused on work, food, criticism, and practical matters. But at night, around firelight, conversation shifted towards stories, memories, people far away, myths, emotions, and the invisible world. In one study, most nighttime conversation involving groups turned towards storytelling. That should make us pause, because it means the ancient night was not empty. It was not only sleeping. It was a social space created by fire, a place where humans could imagine together while danger waited outside the light. Have you ever wondered why stories still feel different at night? Why a fire, a candle, or a dim room makes people speak differently? Maybe because our brains still remember when night was not for work, but for meaning. Now move the map to South Africa. At Border Cave, researchers found evidence that humans were making grass bedding around 200,000 years ago. This was not a modern mattress, but it was not nothing. Layers of grass, sometimes associated with ash, appear to have created prepared sleeping or living surfaces. Ash may have helped reduce insects, because fine ash can interfere with pests. Think about what that means. 200,000 years ago, humans were not simply collapsing onto bare cave floors. They were modifying the ground. They were choosing materials. They were building a surface between the body and the earth. They were using plants, ash, and fire to make sleep safer, cleaner, warmer, and more comfortable. Now move to Sibudu Cave, also in South Africa. There, archaeologists found plant bedding dating to around 77,000 years ago. The bedding included sedges and aromatic leaves that contained natural insecticidal and larvicidal chemicals. In simple words, ancient humans were not just making a soft place to lie down. They were making bedding that may have helped repel mosquitoes, ticks, and other pests. That is extraordinary. A sleeping platform, a pest control layer, a moisture barrier, a comfort surface, all made from plants. Long before mattress companies, humans were engineering sleep with grass, leaves, ash, and memory. They knew which plants mattered. They knew what insects avoided. They knew the difference between lying on the ground and preparing the ground. This is where the story becomes clear. The first beds were not luxury. They were survival technology. If insects kept biting, you did not sleep well. If you did not sleep well, you were weaker the next day. If you were weaker, you hunted worse, gathered worse, watched worse, remembered worse. Bad sleep was dangerous. So better bedding was not comfort in the modern sense. It was protection. If you were an ancient human, a good sleeping place could mean the difference between waking strong and waking sick, bitten, cold, or exhausted. Now think about how much had to happen before anyone slept. A place had to be chosen before dark. Not too exposed, not too damp, not too close to predator paths, not too far from fuel, not too far from water, but not foolishly close to danger. Bedding had to be gathered. Branches, leaves, grass, skins, ash, or hides had to be arranged. Fire had to be placed carefully. Smoke had to move the right way. Children had to be near protection. Older people needed warmth. Tools had to be reachable. The group had to decide who slept where. This was not laziness. This was nightly engineering. Modern humans say, "I am going to bed." Ancient humans had to build the conditions that made going to bed possible. And then there was the group. Because humans almost never solved sleep alone. Sleep became safer because people slept near other people. Modern research among the Hadza of Tanzania has shown that human sleep in small-scale societies can be flexible, with people waking at different times and relying on naps when needed. Another Hadza study supported the sentinel idea. Because people of different ages have different sleep patterns, there is often someone awake or lightly awake when others are asleep. This does not mean ancient camps had a soldier officially standing guard every night like a modern army, but it suggests something deeply human. Group sleep creates overlapping awareness. One person wakes, another hears. An older person stirs early. A child cries. A dog barks in later periods. A fire needs tending. The group is never perfectly switched off. That may be one reason humans could afford deeper trust in sleep. Not because the night became safe, because the group became a living alarm system. Your instinct to sleep better near someone you trust is not weakness. It is ancient intelligence. A body beside you is warmth, a listener, a warning, a witness. For hundreds of thousands of years, sleeping alone was not freedom. It could be danger. The safe unit was not the individual body. It was the sleeping group. That is why the arrangement of bodies mattered. Infants near warmth, children near adults, older people near the center or the fire, light sleepers near edges, people shifting through the night. Not always as a formal rule, but as a pattern shaped by need. The sleeping camp was a structure made of bodies, a soft architecture of trust. Now we have to talk about the pattern of sleep itself. Modern people often imagine the perfect night as one solid block of 8 uninterrupted hours. Sleep at night, wake in the morning. Anything else feels like failure. But human sleep has not always been so simple. In the early 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas Wehr studied what happened when people were exposed to long periods of darkness each night. After adjustment, their sleep often divided into 2 main bouts with a quiet waking period between them. This does not prove every ancient human slept exactly that way every night. Human sleep is flexible. Climate, danger, hunger, culture, age, season, and light all matter. But it does show something important. Waking in the night is not automatically broken sleep. For much of human history, a quiet period of wakefulness in the middle of the night may have been normal in many contexts. A person might wake, listen, feed the fire, speak quietly, think, pray, nurse a child, watch the dark, then sleep again. So when a modern person wakes at 2 a.m. and feels something is wrong, maybe nothing ancient is wrong at all. Maybe the body is remembering a night that modern schedules no longer allow. We turned sleep into a single block because work, clocks, and artificial light reshaped the night. But the older body may still be more flexible than the modern timetable wants it to be. Now compare that with your bed tonight. You may lie on foam, springs, cotton, or fabric engineered in factories. You may sleep behind walls, windows, locks, and curtains. You may have air conditioning, heating, white noise, blackout fabric, pillows, and a phone that tracks the quality of your rest. And still, you may sleep badly. That is not because ancient people had perfect sleep. They did not. They had insects, smoke, cold, hunger, crying children, hard ground, danger, and pain. But ancient sleep was connected to the environment in a way modern sleep often is not. Darkness meant dark. Firelight meant social time. Cold meant bodies closer together. Danger meant awareness. Morning meant actual sunrise. Modern sleep is surrounded by comfort, but also attacked by light, noise, stress, schedules, screens, caffeine, isolation, and anxiety. We made beds softer, then made minds louder. We made rooms safer, then filled them with glowing alarms. We removed predators from the night, then replaced them with thoughts. So maybe the story is not that ancient humans slept better. Maybe the story is that ancient humans understood sleep as a system, a place, a group, a fire, a surface, a rhythm, a relationship with darkness. Modern humans often treat sleep as a personal failure. You cannot sleep, so something is wrong with you. But ancient sleep reminds us that sleep is ecological. It depends on light, temperature, safety, noise, social trust, food, body movement, timing, and the nervous system's belief that the world is safe enough to stop watching. That last part matters most. Sleep begins when the body believes it can let go. And for ancient humans, that belief had to be earned. Every night, through preparation, through fire, through bedding, through group arrangement, through knowledge of place, through the confidence that someone, somewhere near you, would stir if danger came close. Now move forward into houses. As humans built more permanent shelters, some of the old sleep knowledge became less visible. Walls replaced careful site selection. Roofs replaced tree cover. Beds replaced grass layers. Doors replaced perimeter awareness. Lamps replaced firelight. Locks replaced group vigilance. These inventions were powerful. They saved lives. They made sleep safer. They allowed privacy, storage, warmth, and stability. But they also changed our relationship with the night. The old system did not vanish in one moment. It faded slowly. As houses improved, humans needed less nightly environmental awareness. As artificial light spread, night became less distinct from day. As modern work grew, sleep became something squeezed between schedules. The ancient night was dangerous, but it had a shape. The modern night is safe, but often shapeless. We lie in soft beds with ancient nervous systems, wondering why the body will not obey the clock. This is why the history of sleep matters. Because sleep is not just biological, it is cultural, technological, social, environmental. The place humans sleep reveals what they fear. Trees reveal fear of the ground. Caves reveal fear of exposure. Fire reveals fear of darkness. Bedding reveals fear of insects, cold, dampness, and discomfort. Group sleep reveals fear of being alone. Bedrooms reveal the modern desire for privacy. Locked doors reveal a different kind of danger. And glowing screens reveal that even now, we are still gathering around light in the dark. Only the fire has changed shape. So where did humans sleep before houses? They slept in solutions. A tree platform was a solution. A cave floor covered in grass was a solution. A ring of bodies around a fire was a solution. A layer of ash under bedding was a solution. A story told before sleep was a solution. A waking elder was a solution. A child placed near warmth was a solution. Every safe night was built from small decisions. And the fact that you are here means those decisions worked. Not once, not for one person, but again and again across thousands of generations. Somewhere in your ancestry, every single direct line survived the night. The bedding held, the fire burned. The group stayed close, the predator passed, the child woke, the elder listened, the morning came. That is the miracle hidden inside ordinary sleep. Tonight, when you lie down, you may not think about any of this. You may only feel tired. You may complain about your pillow. You may check your phone too long. You may wake at 2 a.m. and wonder why your brain is awake. But underneath that modern night is an ancient inheritance. The same biological need. The same vulnerable body. The same requirement that the world feels safe enough for consciousness to disappear. Before houses, humans did not just sleep anywhere. They built sleep out of fire, grass, trees, bodies, stories, and vigilance. They turned dangerous darkness into a survivable place. They made the night human. And that may be one of the most underrated achievements in our history. Not the first tool, not the first hunt, not the first painting, but the first safe night. Because before humans could dream of gods, journeys, ancestors, maps, or futures, they first had to do something more basic. They had to survive with their eyes closed. So close your eyes tonight and understand what that means. You are not simply falling asleep. You are entering one of the oldest human technologies. A technology older than houses, older than farming, older than writing, older than cities. A technology built from trust, fire, memory, and the refusal to be taken by the dark. And maybe, for the first time, you will understand how extraordinary it is to feel safe enough to stop watching.